What is going on, my friends? What is going on? What is going on? Let me kind of work. There we go. So y'all can see me. How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another great episode of the Arrington Gavin podcast, the show where we discuss trending stories and topics from the fields of politics, sports, and pop culture. Now, from time to time, I bring on individuals from all walks of life to share their remarkable stories, expertise, whether they're whether they're entertainers, musicians, community leaders, politicians on from either side, because I'm a middleman. I'm friends with everybody. Everybody loves Arrington. And also just I like to have a good time with you all. I always like to make the time and just have a great just have a sit down conversation with you, the listeners, the viewers who continue to support the Arrington Gavin pod. I truly thank you. Couldn't make it this far without you guys. This is episode 67 of the Arrington Gavin pod. For those who are just now tuning in, it's your first time tuning into the pod. Please be sure to subscribe to all of our social media accounts. So our Smooth Club Media on YouTube. Hit the subscribe, like our videos, leave a comment. I truly appreciate it, whether if it's good or bad. Hey, leave a comment. Hey, it's something. Also, you can subscribe if you are a Rumble subscriber. You can follow us on Rumble. Just follow the Arrington Gavin podcast on Rumble. Subscribe and all that great stuff. Also, you can listen to us wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that's iHeart, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts. You can tune into the Arrington Gavin pod. So I truly appreciate that. Yes, so let's get it going. Let's get it going with some stories and stuff that I would like to share with you all. Bittersweet. So we've this past weekend we've lost not one but two giants in the the pop culture in the Black community. One individual that we lost this past weekend, he was a true radio legend activist, Joe Madison, known as the Black Eagle. If you are not familiar who Joe Madison is, Joe Madison, there we go, get that going. Joe Madison was the host, longtime host, for the popular SiriusXM show titled Joe Madison, the Black Eagle. Joe Madison was a civil rights activist. He has worked with legends like Dick Gregory, Rosa Parks. I mean, you name it, he did it. He done numerous hunger strikes, and he was just a person that was a true voice that we always needed to hear and listen to in the Black community when it came to politics, social issues, and anything where it was mistreatment going on. Hey, you had to tune into his show. Now, he was on SiriusXM for about 15 years. I think he hosted a 4-hour show. Joe Madison, in my mind, was the face of Urban View, which is a channel on SiriusXM. I'm a subscriber. Please, for those who are, if you tune into SiriusXM, tune into Urban View. Whether you don't have to be African American, but if you any ethnicity, nationality, tune into Urban View. And if you are not a SiriusXM subscriber, please, hey, check them out, man. It's some good stuff, and you can actually tune into some past episodes of Joe Madison, the Black Eagle, on podcasts as well. But Joe Madison passed away at the age of 74. He was battling his second bout of prostate cancer. And he, hold on, let me give you, there you go. That's a image of him. That was an old image of him, because as you see in the background, it's called The Power. So the Urban View used to be called The Power, and then they changed it to Urban View. So Joe Madison's been there for quite a long time, a true legend. And thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his wife Sherry, who served as a producer for his radio show. You can actually listen to her regularly on his platform. Joe was known as really, like, he did not play any games. Very unfiltered. He gave you his opinion. Did not care who you were. I mean, there were callers who had, that were calling to his show. I mean, cussing at him with racial slurs, right? Call him racial slurs, and he could care less. Now, again, SiriusXM was more unfiltered, so he cussed them out. He actually had a very popular, he had a cuss jar, and his cuss jar would fill up so much, man, and he would donate the money that he, that he would raise from his cuss jar to organization, any organization with the, with the cause. And so it was very funny because every time he would swear on the show, you would hear that like ka-ching sound on his program. And also he had this saying, called, say, what are you, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? When callers will call in with complaints, sharing their frustration with this and that and the other, he would say, well, look, you sharing your frustration, what are you going to do about it? And they and if they never gave him a clear response on that, I mean, he would let them have it, and not in a insulting way, but he's like, look, y'all, we cannot continue to uh whine about certain stuff, and we are not doing anything about that, right? I always tell you guys, when I talk to friends of mine that have issues what's going on in the community, whether if it's potholes or the property tax, or whatever happened in their community, I'm like, when's the last time you vote? Oh man, I don't believe in that. Police is also, it's all a big scheme. No, bull, because the more you bitch and moan about it and don't do anything about it, what all you're doing is just blowing hot smoke. That's just a waste of air that you're doing. All you're doing is complaining, whining. I would say this: you have to be informed. Knowledge is power, y'all. Knowledge is power, and an individual like Mr. Madison, Joe Madison, that was one of the sources I used to get my knowledge from, because he wasn't a let me say this: he was a fair individual. He was a very fair personality. Now, more on the progressive side. He was a more on the left, on the left side of politics, but he always was respectful of anybody of all backgrounds. But he did not play, man, and it's truly a huge loss for the black community, for the radio community in general. I mean, this man has been in radio for 40 years. 40 years. He started off on the AM circuit. Then he went on to continue to grow his platform, going to Sirius XM. Like I said, the last 15 years, he was on top of the world. And he had, I know he had recently done a hunger strike for, it was, I think, for voting rights. I could be wrong. Let me actually, let me pull that up real quick. But I want to say it was for voting rights, and his hunger strike lasted for about, I think, 74 days, and he was not going to be eating solid food, so it was straight just like a liquid diet throughout that whole entire hunger strike. Let me see if they have it on this. I don't think they have it on there. Hold on. No, this source is not giving it to me. But his last public protest was that hunger strike. And since that hunger strike, he had said that, hey, it kind of it took a toll on his body. It really did. It took a toll on his body, for a man that was in remission. He had his bout of cancer prior to that, and then he had this, and then recently he had made a post that, hey, gonna be on a hiatus from my show, but they were playing, what they call Madison classic shows of his. And then, we had to receive the sad news from his team about the passing of Joe Madison. I mean, it won't be the same. I will tell you that talk radio won't be the same without Joe Madison. Young or old, you had the utmost respect for him. You enjoyed him. Sometimes you're like, God dang, you had your like your you might have had your thoughts like, man, I wouldn't respond in that way, but that was his style. No one had a style like Joe Madison. I hope to pull I me being an up and coming, you know, person in media, really in radio and podcasting. Those are some of my idols that I will love to kind of gravitate to to be like, gravitate some of his tactics, the way he spoke, the way he presented, so the little things, right? So again, I just want to thoughts and prayers to his family. A true legend, that's all I can say. A true legend, a true legend. Another individual that I want to bring up that we lost this past weekend, Carl Weathers. So if you're familiar with the Rocky series, um um what else, Alien versus Predator, or I think it was Predator, and what else was it? He was in, what else was he was in the Heat of the Night, I believe, towards the end of the series of In the Heat of the Night. But Carl Weathers, he played Apollo. I don't know if this one has a picture of him, but Carl Weathers, let me get this. Oh no, that's not what I. There we go. There we go. That was Carl Weathers right there. So Carl Weathers played Apollo on Rocky 1, 2, and he had, yes, so his character had died off on Rocky 2. No, I'm lying. Was it 3? Yes, it was 3. So no, now I'm lying some more. Hold on, y'all. Y'all gotta help me out here. So Rocky 1, he fought Apollo. Rocky 2, Rocky 2, I'm pretty sure he had a rematch with Apollo. Yes, I'm pretty sure he had a rematch. Rocky 3, he fought Mr. T, Clubber Lang. And then there we go. Rocky 4, he fought the Russian uh Ivan Drago. There we go. So he passed. His character died in the fourth um movie, Rocky movie, and then of course Creed was such a huge character in the Rocky series. It went on to create another series called Creed, where then Apollo Creed's son grew up to become a professional fighter, and became a champion, all that good stuff. So Apollo Creed was also on, I think, the Star Wars series. His resume goes so far, and just very successful individual, former NFL football star, then turned actor, and his acting career just climbed. I mean, I mean, hell, he was in great shape towards his towards his final days. If you see him, man was always built like an athlete, and and it was he was just awesome. Everybody loved Apollo. Everybody loved Apollo. Or Carl Weathers. You knew him as Carl Weathers, but I mean, for you Rocky lovers out there, that was Apollo. I was raised around the Rocky series. My mother was a diehard Rocky fan. I think for Mother's Day I gave her like the full series of the collection of all the Rocky DVDs. That was back when DVDs were popular, by the way, y'all. That was back when DVDs were popular. But definitely thoughts and prayers go out to Carl Weathers family. Sylvester Stallone, he recently did a tribute video just speaking on the great times and what he thought of Carl Weathers, the kind of person he was, and all the above. Arnold Schwarzenegger, same thing. He was in a few comedy projects as well. Happy Gilmore with Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler made a nice tribute post on his social media about the passing of Carl Weathers. And Carl Weathers passed at the age of 76. Again, still, gone too soon, y'all. Gone too soon. He was a true, okay. He recent project was in The Mandalorian as Grief Karga from 2019 to 2023, alongside Pedro Pascal. That role earned him a Primetime Emmy nomination for in 2021 for Outstanding Guest Actor. So I mean, this man had so much more to give, but again, when the Lord calls you, man, he calls you, but he's taking care of you. You're on to a much better place. Um, R.I.P. to those two legends, radio legend, civil rights activist Joe Madison, as well as former professional football player, actor, the legend Carl Weathers. Y'all, again, bittersweet, bittersweet weekend, but uh, want to continue to go on because as you know, we do have the Super Bowl happening very soon. It's it's less than 10 days away, I believe. It's happening on Sunday, February 11th. You have the underdog, in a sense, the San Francisco 49ers, led by Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, the 262nd pick in the NFL draft. 260. You know what's crazy? This man is playing like like a number one pick. Okay. Brock Purdy is he's not the average quarterback size. I believe he's like 6'1", under 230 pounds. Little guy, right? He almost looks like the size of Johnny Manziel. His career has since then he's been killing it this year. Obviously, he's leading his team to a Super Bowl. They're taking on the reigning defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Kansas City Chiefs, this will be their fourth Super Bowl appearance in 5 years. In their 5 years, there will be their fourth appearance, and led by Pat Mahomes, who is, they're our dynasty. They're an unstoppable force. Now, again, in the beginning of the season, I was thinking the opposite. I did not think Kansas City would make it this far because they had lost one of their biggest pieces in Tyreek Hill, who ended up signing with the Miami Dolphins, having an awesome season out there. I think he made the Pro Bowl. He helped his QB Tua make it to the Pro Bowl as well. I mean, they had a great season. But Buffalo just did not have the right tools to stop KC. Then KC went on to play Baltimore, who was also having an amazing season. Lamar Jackson, his squad, was having a great season, and they end up losing as well in home, playing in Baltimore, and they lost that game. They did not have anything to answer for stopping KC. KC's their head coach Andy Reid is a wizard. He's one of probably the last long-standing great coaches in the NFL right now. As you know, Bill Belichick, he parted ways with the New England Patriots. He has since signed with the squad. I truly think it should be Bill's time to retire and just enjoy retirement. He has an amazing career, loads of Super Bowl rings. He doesn't have anything else to prove. Andy Reid, he's another guy that's continuing to climb that ladder. He's like, hey, look, why stop when I'm continuing to win? So he's gonna get to go until he starts losing, and that will be a long time in hell when they start losing. You have Travis Kelce, you still have Pat Mahomes, you have an amazing defense, you have an amazing offensive line, you have great receiver. I mean, they are going to be winning on coaching. It, in Detroit playing the Super Bowl, they played so hard this season, they deserve it. But the way they played in the last game, man, they were doing some stupid calls, like going forward on. You don't do that, man. Stop. It's not that you can't gamble in these situations. You can gamble in regular season, but you cannot gamble in the postseason. That can potentially help lead you to the Super Bowl. You just can't. So that hurt them very badly. And so here's what's going to be happening. That's going to be your Super Bowl to watch. But the awesome thing is the halftime. Everybody cannot stop talking about the halftime. The halftime will be performed by none other than, in my mind, the legend, the icon, Usher. Usher will be performing the halftime. He's gonna be banging some of his most uh, memorable hits on the stage. I mean, we're so excited. Let me see. Let me pull this up of what Usher has been discussing to the press on what to expect with his halftime performance. Look at this right here. This is reported by the Hollywood Reporter. Um, it says here, Usher says Super Bowl halftime show will honor Black artists who came before him. All right. Black artists that came before him. So you start to think, okay, Michael Jackson came before him. Um, Prince, came before him. When it comes to R&B, Tevin Campbell came before him. I mean, uh, is it Bobby Brown? Who? Everybody's discussing. Okay, is he gonna bring some guests out? Right? Who's gonna be the guest? So I have my predictions on the performance. Obviously, yeah, was one of his top hits that featured Ludacris and Lil Jon. So in my case, you would have to bring on Ludacris and Lil Jon. Um, let me see who else could he even. I think I don't know if My Boo was his song or Alicia Keys' song, but if it was his song, that'll be dope to have Alicia Keys pop in because that was a banger as well. My Boo, that was a great hit right there. The whole Confessions album, obviously. I mean, what's gonna be his first song? That's another thing too. What's gonna be the first song Usher's gonna perform? Because he has, I believe, 13 minutes. He has about 13 minutes and some change for the halftime, which I mean, his catalog all compact into 13 minutes. That's going to be pretty difficult. That is going to be pretty difficult to do. But it has been done. Obviously, you have past performers. You have Beyonce. She's even included. She brought in Destiny's Child up there. You had Bruce Springsteen. You've had Bruno Mars, Coldplay, Taylor Swift, Katy Perry, Madonna. All those individuals have performed the halftime. Now, in my opinion, though, the best one some the my so I always say, Prince's halftime was so dope. Prince did not do much dancing and showboating and stuff, but Prince was it was just his hits are so top. He formed Purple Rain and it started to rain outside, y'all. That's Mother Nature. It started to perform Purple Rain and it started raining. Like, how memorable is that? Um Let me see. So the half Dr. Dre's halftime, right? That was dope, but again, I don't think it was the best. They've definitely had some great hits. I will say they had some great hits. I would like to see a Kendrick Lamar Super Bowl halftime. I think he has the hits in the catalog to do so. Mariah Carey, she'll be a good one to do a halftime show, even though she's not a dancer, but she got some hips, she'll bop and all that good stuff. Um or maybe just do say like have different record labels and now they will be in charge of their halftime, so they'll have some of their best artists from that label. Or this halftime is gonna be a tribute to R&B or a tribute to Motown, so you got your Motown singer, stuff like that. um as popular as Adele is, I don't think she'll do a good halftime Super Bowl halftime show. um let me see. I wasn't crazy about Coldplay's. The reason why, because I'm not crazy about Coldplay in general. They have some known hits and stuff like that, but they brought on he featured two past performers like pretty recently. He had Beyonce come on, he had Bruno Mars come on. I mean, it wasn't all that in my opinion. Don't get me started with the Taylor Swift one. Didn't care for Katy Perry. Um, it just it's iffy. But I thought that Jay's in charge of the halftime. It's gonna continue to get better. Rihanna did great. I would have loved to see a little more interaction stuff with Rihanna, but hey, she was pregnant, as a and it had so long. Uh, it had been so long since she performed uh, uh, just performed music in general. 'Cause she's made money with her Venti, uh, line, Fenty, is that what Fenty line, and makeup and all this stuff. She's making money outside of, it's a billionaire now. She is a billionaire. So she's making killing after doing music. But I'm curious, capable of putting on a Super Bowl halftime. Crazy Shakira, I think they're attractive women. I just, eh. I love me some J Lo, yo. I love me some J Lo, but I've never been a fan of like J Lo as like an artist. Like, I think I'll go to like a J Lo concert or anything like that. Amazing entertainer. One of our greatest entertainers, as far as just name recognition, J Lo. Everybody knows J Lo. Actress, great performer. Yeah, there's still more people that can really rock the stage uh at the Super Bowl, and that can really do better. So I'm excited to sure hit. I know it's gonna be great. Curious to see he's done round as well too. That Wednesday, Friday, 10 podcast, your podcast, whether that's Apple, like I said, wherever your podcast, you can tune in at 10 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and also 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the video version of media. You Smooth Club Media, subscribe now. Facebook, our Smooth Club Podcast. You can follow us on X as well. You can watch us from there, and you can watch us on Rumble at the Arrington Gavin Podcast. So until next time, my friends, y'all be easy, stay blessed, stay safe out there, and I will be bringing you some more great performances. Great conversations here on the Arrington Gavin Pod. Peace.